doing? We are going to talk about something that is very cool. It's digital transformation. It's funny, we hear metaverse, metaverse, metaverse all the time. You know, it's kind of about $1 trillion opportunity as estimates go. The actual world economy is about $100 trillion. And guess what? It's where we eat. It's what we eat, it's where we live, it's what we drive around in, all that stuff. We're going to talk about that right now, and let's get started. Ursula, give us 30 seconds on you and Saint-Gobain.
So I'm the Chief Digital Information Officer of Saint-Gobain. 357-year-old, invented by Louis XIV, who was sick and tired to get, it was dependent on Venetian's glass and mirrors. So we're now one of the largest construction material manufacturer in the world, who concluded last year with almost 45 billion euro, 170,000 employees in 75 countries.
How many companies can say they were founded by a king? Never mind a king 357 years ago. That's amazing. Rotem, 30 seconds on you and Maersk, which everybody knows, but maybe not totally.
Yes, so my name is Rotem Hershko, and I'm leading the digital transformation at Maersk. Some of you know Maersk as one of the biggest shipping companies in the world for more than 100 years now. How big, just to give you some context, 1 every 6 things that you see around you right now, 1 every 6 things that you have in your home, in your office, was at some point inside the Maersk container. That's how big. A few years ago, our customers approached us and asked for us to lean in and help them with their end-to-end supply chain needs. Not only ocean shipping, but also warehousing and landside transportation and custom and whatnot. And then we, of course, as a customer-first company, we said yes, leaned in, and now we are one of the biggest players in the world in logistics and services. With that expansion to warehouses and air cargo and whatnot, came the realization that the only way that we can help these customers end-to-end, the only way we can optimize their supply chain in the right way is by leaning into technology. And over the last couple of years, Maersk has become very strong and very big in technology, and I'm very happy to talk about it in the next couple of minutes with all of you.
Next few minutes, because we're only on for about 20 here. Ursula, let's start with you. You're a 357-year-old construction materials company. A couple decades ago, they might not have known what a CDO is at all. What are you digitizing and why?
Actually, the construction industry lost productivity over the last 50 years. It's the only industry that did not improve and didn't take advantage of the opportunities out there. And it's an incredible opportunity to now almost leapfrog technology into that market, from an individualization and a personalization where you pre-cut interior walls, where they're already pre-sorted, you already deliver it per room, you reduce 50% of the installation time, you reduce 30% waste, preserving raw material and energy, and you know what, it's good for the margin as well. It is laser technology to remove 3 days of a ceiling implementation. It is sensors in order to supervise and understand the drying process of walls. So it is not that we are having an intelligent mortar to know after 30 years if it is molding or not, but it is this entire surrounding on how you can actually create the productivity with also a labor workforce that is not very highly educated. So how can you make it as simple as possible, as error-free as possible, while preserving raw material and energy? How can you make it sustainable? It's a huge topic in the construction market. That is 40% of the carbon footprint globally. And so digitalization from a service perspective, from just the optimization perspective, to really how you build is an amazing opportunity that we now have going forward. As, last thing, we all need to continue to build, because all of Europe and all of the US, they need to save more energy, so we need more insulation, we need an improved environment, and in the rest of the world, there is a severe lack still of housing for people.
It's a really tough challenge, because not only do we need to keep building because there's many homeless people, especially in the States, but many other countries, poorer countries as well, but also the homes that we have aren't energy efficient, and we're going to do all that building in a way that is less carbon intensive, is more green, is more friendly to the planet that we live on. So there's lots of challenges there. Let's talk about challenges of digitization. Everybody agrees we need to. Everybody wants to. Everybody wants to be a smart, fully integrated digital organization, know where all your stuff is, know where it's going, know when it's going to get there, all that stuff. Maintain custody, digital custody. What are some of the challenges?
Yeah, so I think first we need to acknowledge that deep digital transformation is messy. It doesn't go in linear line, and it's messy. That's first. Now, a few principles that we have been following at Maersk over the last couple of years that help us to become relatively successful in our transformation is first about the alignment. It's really important to have an alignment all the way from the top. I can tell you as an executive at Maersk, I feel very supported by my board of directors, and we are all on the same page about the need for transportation and transformation. Sometimes we do argue, obviously, but it's mostly about how can we move faster, how can we expedite, and it's not about whether we need transformation. So first is about alignment. The second very important lesson for us is that it's not the best idea to task one team in your company to lead transformation, being the tech team, being a transformation office. We perceive transformation as a change at the DNA of the entire company. When we think transformation at Maersk, we are changing the end-to-end customer experience, all the way from how we create or in lead generation to contracting and booking and pricing and post-purchase experience. Transformation is all over the place, and the entire company is leaning in. Of course, the tech team has a lot to do with the digital transformation, but it shouldn't be a task of one team. And the last thing I want to say is about the hat of a long-term thinking and a long-term commitment that ones need to put in order to deeply transform a company. The ROI is not always around the corner. We at Maersk, when we decided to transform, we went all in. We're modernizing our entire tech infrastructure. We're moving to the cloud, the entire business. We're launching tens of new microservices. And so it's all in, and you need to have a lot of patience and do it the right way. If you didn't do it the right way, it's going to be a house of cards, and with a small shake in the industry, it's all going to collapse.
I'm just listening to you, and I'm going like, the whole company, top to bottom, every team, every person, every process, every customer touch, everything you do, it's a small job. I mean, it's obviously very easy, right?
Yeah, we sleep every day between 2 to 4. We take some nap because it's so easy, of course.
Ursula, let's talk to you. What are the key ingredients that you see from Saint-Gobain's point of view for a successful digital transformation?
It's actually known that by now digital transformation projects are failing more than ever ERP implementations failed. So we're up in the 80s.
That's because it's so easy.
It's so easy,
yeah.
Exactly, yes. But the thing is also for me, digital transformation, we're all talking about we need to innovate and we need to be creative. I don't think that's the problem. I think that we all have an incredible wealth of creativity in all of our companies. And we have an array of pilots and prototypes and ideas everywhere. For me, successful digitalization, to not become a waste of money, is that you prioritize which ones are really needle movers of all of these ideas. And all of you have plenty of these, right? And sometimes they're with an Excel database or just really handmade. So you need to pick, you prioritize, and then you scale. You execute at scale for the bottom line of the company. And that prioritization and that execution makes the difference between a successful digital transformation or failure.
We're going to go to Rotem in a second and ask about talent and the right talent you need, but let's just continue on this for a second here. It's challenging, it's difficult, it's hard, it's a long road. How do you maintain the motivation and energy as you go forward?
You need to have quick wins. You need to have successes in between. It is a learning by doing. I still don't believe that there is this revolution in these large companies. It is an evolution. But the experimentation, the kind of like preparedness of all these parties, it is people, process, and technology. It's very old actually, but you just gotta do it. And this also sticking it out is actually extremely important, or dropping it early enough.
It's like one of the keys to success for people, right? Showing up every single day and doing the work. Talking about that, Rotem, talk about talent. Do you need to bring in outside talent? Do you need to just work with the people you have? What's the right plan and mix there?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so I think that the meta point is that in order to be successful in a digital transformation, deep digital transformation, you need to inject into your organization digital native talent. And when I say digital native talent, I don't mean any digital native talent. You need to bring the best of the best. We at Maersk, we have been really successful and really lucky over the last couple of years to inject hundreds of Silicon Valley best. We have now executives and leaders from the Google and Amazon and Microsoft and Expedias of the world, and they're all joining our journey. And it's not an easy task to bring them over, but the ROI is definitely positive. So you need talent, and you need the best talent. Then, just to touch a point, it's easier said than done sometimes. The reason we were able to attract this talent is mostly because we were able to sell them and tell them about the impact that they may have in a company like Maersk. We're changing an industry, we're changing the world, we're so key to the zero carbon emission agenda that everybody is going after. We at Maersk, we're going to hit zero carbon emission by 2040. We just bought 18 humongous ships that can now emit zero carbon. And so these talent in Silicon Valley and other places, they really want to change the world. And our ability to explain and share our vision was one of the key reasons we're able to bring them over.
Can I add to that? I would like to add from my perspective, because yes, you need the outside blood. Yes, you need another perspective. But you know what? We have companies that are old, that are working in a known manner, where there is a maturity or not maturity in different areas, where you have awareness or not awareness. And the thing is, you need to fit it to the environment, because you need to always push as hard as you can, but you cannot run harder than the organization can bear or, digest. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it was important to add these new people, but I call it the constructive tension. The constructive tension between the new wild cowboys hitting the ones, we did this 20 years now along the same way. And that expertise is also important to ground it. I'm not disputing this.
I couldn't agree more with that.
Because it is about this, you need to make it work. It cannot stay an Excel database from a prototype or a pilot.
But it's worked for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the new guys come in with their ideas, and you need to ground them.
And that's why you need executive people who are behind it, right? So they can push that and go for it. Rotem, I have to underline something you said. You brought over hundreds of people, you said, from Amazon, you're ex-Amazon, from Google, from other places. And you look at that and you think, I'm just an ordinary company, or I'm a company in the, a conventional industry. How can I attract somebody from Google? They have employment for life. They have free massages. It's really good. They have slides. I've gone down slides at Google headquarters, right? All that stuff. But you know what? 90% of the engineers at Google work on ad tech. They work on ad tech, ways of figuring out how to make 50 cents more for my eyeballs when I visit their page. That's not very inspiring, honestly. And you sold them an inspiring vision. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. So I'll be less excited to comment about Google. I have deeply respect to them, but I can tell you, for us, the impact that the talent can bring to the table. There's this environmental mind that everybody now has. It's a great selling point, and one of the reasons we're able to successfully attract hundreds of these talents into Maersk.
Ursula, we'll turn to you. I heard that Web Summit's giving us another 20 minutes.
But that is my pitch, What do you want to do as the 101,000th employee in Google, and what kind of impact do you have there on a daily basis? But if you come to a construction market that is zero digitalized, we're going to leap and frog and bound and jump.
Yeah. You got a clap there. That's awesome. We'll amplify that. Last question here. Case study disease. There's a digital transformation project. A case study gets written up. It's amazing. It's incredible. And it's 0.325% of a company's business. How do we avoid case study disease and do the full job over the full enterprise?
You know what, I think that at a certain point in time, it is also a belief war. For example, do you invest into data governance? You can calculate yourself rich, you can calculate yourself poor. With all these initiatives, I think it is actually, in the end, a very smart, intuitive, intellectual process where you actually bet on, where you see from a customer perspective interest, where also you want to actually develop customers' needs, right? They're not all there yet, maybe. Where you would, based on trends, anticipate where it will head to. For example, okay, we're going to go into a shortage of skills, yeah? Contractors are not having a university degree, but they need to work faster and more efficient. So, how do you need to make it? Well, you need to make it modular. You need to make it very clear, A goes to A, B goes to B, and so there's some, you need to kind of like look a little bit into the future and weigh it and prioritize. That's...
Rotem, maybe weigh in on that a moment?
Yeah, for me, the only way to be successful and not to create a case study or just move the needle a little bit starts, as we mentioned, from top alignment, leaning in, long-term thinking, aspiration to invest and change the company, change the culture. Just give you a few examples. At Maersk, over the last couple of years, and I have the opportunity to observe a little bit as an outsider coming from the US, coming from Amazon, the entire company started to be customer-centric. The entire company started to be data-driven. The entire company changing the mindset. And for me, these are the main evidence of the transformation. It's end-to-end, it's across the company, it's around the world. We're operating in more than 100 countries around the world, so it's not a small task for the team at headquarters, but it all starts from the top.
Love it, love it, love it. Let's end here. Very brief answer. Is digital transformation a bet the company type of initiative? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Great stuff. Thank you for being here. You made it out to Pavilion 5. How did you get here? I didn't know there was land out here. Great job for you guys.